Welcome to Everybody Counts, Malone Bailey's podcast that features a variety of different topics with a variety of different perspectives. And thank you so much for joining us today. We're here to talk about a new FASB proposal that simplifies accounting for non-employee share-based payments. It was recently issued in early March 7th to be exact. And I'm joined today by Steven Vertucci, one of our audit partners. He's going to tell us a little bit more about this new proposal. So welcome, Steven, and thank you for being with us today.
Hi, Caroline. Thank you for having me.
So, Steven, before we jump into the topic, why don't you give our listeners just a quick rundown of your background?
I'm a partner at Malone Bailey, and I've been with the firm for about 18 years. And I've been doing public company work and audit work for about 16 of those years.
Okay, great. Well, you sound like the perfect person to talk about this topic today. So let's jump right in and tell us about this new proposal and how it's different from what's currently in place.
Well, the proposed ASU is intended to reduce the cost and complexity of financial reporting for non-employee share-based payments. Basically expands the scope under ASC 718 to include not just payments to employees, but also payments for goods and services to non-employees. And in doing so, it eliminates ASC 505-50, which is currently used for non-employees.
Okay, so another simplification of an existing rule. Why is this important?
It's important because currently with two sets of rules, the guidance can be confusing and difficult to apply for companies that have payments to both employees and non-employees. So by eliminating the separate guidance for non-employees, companies should find it easier to do the accounting for the awards regardless of the recipient. Consistent with the employee awards going forward, non-employee awards would now be measured at the grant date, which is easier than the non-employee method. Performance conditions will be based on the probability of satisfying those conditions, which is simpler than the current method for non-employees. And consideration of other accounting like derivatives under 815 would be done the same as you do now for employees, where currently you have different consideration depending on who the party is.
Okay, great. So who does this affect?
This will affect all companies that issue equity for goods or services to non-employees.
Okay, and so at this point, this is just in the proposal phase, so when would this proposal go into effect?
It's not stated in the proposal the exact date. What FASB is looking for at the moment is for people that have an interest in the topic to provide comments. The document itself has a number of questions that are posed to the reader, and so what we want to do is encourage people to read through the proposal and then provide your feedback to FASB, and then at a later date, assuming they move forward, they would actually pick an effective date.
And feedback can be provided on the FASB website, right? That's where people would go to provide their responses.
All the instructions for how to respond to the proposal are within the proposal itself.
Okay. For companies looking for some more information on this topic, where should they go?
We can always go to our resources section at our website, or in this case, because it's a FASB document, you can also go to FASB's website.
All right, great. So what kind of questions should a company ask their accountant as it pertains to this new proposal?
I think companies could ask their accountant their viewpoint on the matter and whether or not their accountants are in favor of a proposal that would change the way the accounting is done.
All right. Great. So, Steven, last question before we wrap up, and this is switching gears a little bit. This is called our this or that section. And I'm going to throw a few questions your way and tell us what comes to mind first. Facebook or Twitter?
Neither.
Cake or pie?
Brownies.
Sneakers or sandals?
Boots. I like choices outside of the
Yes,
standard
clearly.
ones.
Clearly. Well, thanks so much for joining us today. You've provided a lot of helpful information, and hopefully our listeners have a better understanding of how this proposal could possibly affect them. We appreciate you listening, and we invite you to peruse our website. It's www.malonebailey.com. You can find a lot of great information about our public company audit services, as well as the resources section that Steven mentioned earlier. It has a lot of great information there. Thanks again, and tune in next time.